I started Coffee with Humans as a way to make meaningful connections. See, I believe when people on individual journeys cross paths, real good can come from that. And in that sacred moment, we have the opportunity to do three things. Name reality and describe the future we want. Destroy things for our good by moving on from that which no longer serves us. Create or recreate ourselves, moving us to the reality we describe. That's the essence of Coffee with Humans, making the world a better place. One conversation at a time.
You did it. You, our valued viewer, have made it back for another live episode of Coffee with Humans. Today with my friend Matt Moorman, who was going to bring his friend Cheresa, but she didn't. She has something else going on.
Yeah, she's busy.
She's very busy.
Yeah.
However, if you have comments, you got questions, join us in the chat. We're happy to take your comments and questions. Today, again, Coffee with Humans, if you're not used to this format, is usually some random person that I meet about 8 minutes prior to the episode, and then we just talk about something. And it's always a great time. Matt's been on once before, and he had such a great time. He decided to come back.
It was a blast. I enjoyed it. I definitely did.
It was a good time. You were the first live episode that I ever did.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And today was going to be the first time I did it with two people on Coffee with Humans.
We missed it.
I know. That's okay. That's all right. Well, if she shows up, she can use the special link. So what's on your mind today, Matt? You're in, you said you're in Denver?
I am. I'm getting ready to head out of town, going to a resort, just kind of hang out for a little bit, spend a few days out and traveling and stuff like that and all that good stuff.
That's fun.
Yeah.
What's the weather like?
Weather here is a little cold. It's I think it's gonna be like 45 degrees. I was up at the gym at I don't know, it's like 30 degrees when I got to the gym at like 5:30 this morning and all that good stuff. And then took my dog to the dog park real quick, had to go run him around. And then after that, now I'm getting ready to head out of town. So,
awesome.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Cool. Well, when we talked last time, you were talking about transitions. We had a good conversation about transitions through business. You were in a certain industry, and then you went into real estate, and now you're working on some other cool stuff.
Yeah.
What thoughts were you left with after we talked about transitions and going through those periods of time in our lives?
Well, obviously, finding the right people in your life is a priority, and the people that actually have your back and, are there for you, and all the things that kind of come with that, those are definitely priorities for me. Also building something building a life that I don't have to work every day for, something that basically is sustainable amongst a community of people. That's kind of a lot of what I started thinking about after our last podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think one of the things that resonated with me from that last conversation was the idea of surrounding yourself with people who help you move forward, particularly at those times when you get stuck, right? You're kind of at that transition point, and you need some extra energy to get through whatever that point is, right? It's almost like, man, I don't want to do this alone. I know I can, I know I need to, but I just want to be in the presence of some other people who are like, man, you can do this. You need cheerleaders.
Sure.
One of our Facebook users, what up, y'all? Yes, sir, 'tis 100%. I'm not sure what that was in regard to. I think it was in regard to your comment about surrounding yourself
with the right
people.
I would most definitely agree. So what I've also learned is, you're the community and the people you kind of bring around, your circle should be small. And I think the reason you would want to, I mean, at least for me, because I'm so influenced by other people as far as wanting to either help or be there for them, or, help them through, tough times relationship wise, those kind of things. You have to realize the character behind whoever you're really around. And I think that's a major priority in your life,
Yeah. What do you think? So your comment right there that you think it should be a small group of people. Why do you think that? What's your experience?
Well, I've had a lot of people around me. I mean, you get a lot of people around you, when you're kind of out in the open and stuff like that. And, just I guess just the solid quality people that aren't trying to bring you down or, embarrass you in public, or, the things like that don't talk about you behind your back. And, that's really really the priority for me moving forward is kind of, where am I going with my life? Yeah, I do real estate and stuff like that, but I'm more in the software, SEO, social media, sector. Yeah, I'm a real estate agent, but kind of, for me as a real estate agent, driving around buyers and stuff like that all the time, is tough. I like to have somebody in the forefront that just, takes care of business and stuff like that for me. And I get to be on the background and kind of do my advertising and marketing and, all the fun stuff that I like to do with that. It's hard for me to be constantly on that grind on a regular basis and knocking that stuff out, daily and everything, when, my job is to create and build systems around companies and people, and the ability for everything to communicate and link and talk together. That's what I do well.
Right. It seems to me that you're kind of also, I guess, a connector. I would term you kind of a connector. So there's this, and the reason I kind of feel that about you is that there is this idea of the logistics, let's say, of a real estate deal. But the logistics, like anybody can kind of pull that off. It's you who's in that space of connecting the various moving parts together to be able to create something bigger, more sustainable, more forward thinking, rather than just the transactional elements of a deal.
Yeah, there's a little bit more than just, putting a sign in the yard and saying, this is what you're doing. I mean, so my last 6 months have really been building this system, building the program around this system, and then getting it ready to launch. It's nice to finally be there to this point and have kind of the systems and structure and everything else in place. Big blessing to, have it all kind of come together as one. And it's amazing to have such great people around me, that we're all able to just kind of, use our talents together for the greater good of each other.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. It is, circling back around to one of your first comments there, it is really, I don't know, an opportunity to evaluate who you share the journey with.
Sure.
When you're building out those things.
Yeah, so you definitely get some, I think you get some people that may not always have your best interests at heart. And then you do get some people that are so genuine, it's not even funny, and the people that are genuine and caring and stuff like that, those are the people that you bring your life around, and that's just how I feel, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got a handful of viewers who are active online right now, and I want to, if you're wondering, like, what the heck is going on? What is Coffee with Humans, and why are these two gentlemen just sitting here chatting? The principle behind Coffee with Humans is that if we were at a normal networking event, you know how you meet somebody and just kind of stand at the bar, or you're standing at the buffet, right? You meet somebody, and then in that moment, you're just strike up a conversation. You talk about something to make those connections. Coffee with Humans is my sort of strategic spot to connect and share in an effort to change the world in our own individual spheres of influence. And so Matt is off in Colorado area, kind of a storied experience. Now he's in real estate. I'm a business advisor. I'm sitting out by Chicago. And we've got viewers all around the world, which is super cool. But we have no particular destination for this train. So if you as a viewer would like to contribute what's on your mind, and Matt and I can chat about that too. But while you're thinking about that, Matt, I asked you if you played games and if you had a pad of paper and a pen.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah. So since we're kind of heading into the lunch hour for some folks, I'm gonna ask you to play a game with me.
Okay.
And it's going to be called Quick Draw. All right. Wasn't that super cool?
That was.
So Quick Draw. With Quick Draw, I'm going to choose a random animal name, and you're going to have 10 seconds to draw that random animal on your piece of paper without lifting your pen. As soon as you lift your pen, it's over. So
I have to stay on the paper.
You have to keep your pen on the paper.
So like this. Okay. So I'm like this, no matter what, and I can't move it off.
Right. You have to keep your pen attached to your paper. So here's an example. If I said skunk, you'd have 10 seconds to draw a skunk on your paper without lifting your pen. Okay. And then at the end of 10 seconds, I'm going to have a timer. It's going to go beep, 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 similar to how most timers end. And then we're going to have to figure out how to show that to the screen.
I think we can do that.
We'll happily take viewer votes on who's got the best animal.
Well, I don't know who can draw better, you or me.
Oh, definitely not me.
I don't know. If I only have a second to do it, 10 seconds doesn't create a masterpiece.
Don't sell yourself short.
Well, we'll see what happens.
All right. So I'm gonna get my random animal up here, and then I'm gonna pull up. I'm on randomal. Oh shoot! I said that yesterday too. Randomal.com. That's not a thing. Somebody owns that domain name, and I think it should just be random animal generator, but that's not what they're doing with it. So if I'm going to click a button, it's going to give us a random animal name. As soon as I say the name, I'm going to click start on my timer. We both have 10 seconds. At the end, it's done.
And I'm not allowed to move my pen up or down. I have to.
You can't lift it off your paper.
Wow, this is going to be. It's
going
to be beautiful.
So you could draw it like this, but you can't
lift
it off the paper.
Like this?
I don't care where you draw it. It doesn't matter to me.
We'll try.
I feel like for as smart as we are, we should just know how to do this, but maybe not. All right.
Well, yeah, it's a little tougher than you think.
That's probably true. All right, I'm going to click the button and then we're going to go, okay?
All right. Ready?
In 3, 2, 1, clicking the button. Tiger. That's it.
Mine didn't go very well.
It looks like what is that?
That's a tiger. You can't tell? I don't know who won. I actually went more lion than tiger, but I also realized because the problem is once you're not allowed to take your pen off the paper.
Isn't that terrible? It's so hard.
It makes it impossible. Right?
Right. You can't take your pen off the paper. You got 10 seconds to draw it. Yeah.
Well, let's try another one.
All right.
I got more for you.
You ready? Okay. Yeah. You're gonna pull out all your skills.
They're coming.
Oh man, you know what I should have said? I should have said this other one, capybara.
Wait, is that an animal?
Yeah, it looks like a groundhog, like a cross between a.
I got you.
I don't know. It's weird.
Oh wait, you haven't hit the 10 seconds.
No, sir. Here we go.
Right.
3, 2, 1. Leopard. Oh shoot! Are you kidding me?
Leopard.
Nope, that's it.
I forgot his face. But you can tell what that is.
Can you?
Well, no, not really at all.
It's like Little Smokies. If you had just a handful of Little Smokies randomly on a plate, that's what your leopard looks like.
Yeah, I bet it does.
Here's mine. It's so much better.
It looks like a cow that lost its chest.
If I hadn't said that this is going to be a leopard, you think that could be like, it could be anything. It could be a state.
That could be something in Africa.
It could be, yeah.
It really looks like it.
It's like rivers that are, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out. That was solid. Both of our artistic talent right now is definitely showing.
Really showing.
We're showing everybody.
It would be fun to get an actual artist. Hey, if there are any artists out there, shoot me a message in the comments or a DM. We can pull you in on the live stream real fast, and you can play this game with us.
They do a lot better. 10 seconds, already done.
Right? Yeah. All right. One more. Here we go.
One more?
In 3, 2, 1. Gila monster.
Okay. Mine looks like an armadillo. Wait, where are we at? Right here.
What? What is that?
That's a Gila monster.
Did we agree on what a Gila monster was? I don't think that's a Gila monster.
Like a reptile, isn't it? Okay, that looks like an iguana.
I feel like Gila monsters look like iguanas.
They probably do. Yours is definitely better in that.
Seen one iguana, seen them all.
Yeah, that's like a Geico commercial almost.
Yeah, that's how they stumbled upon the Geico commercials. They did this random animal name.
You called them and you were like, hey, you want to play a 10-second game? And they were like, we have a complete advertising. Couldn't pick like bird or cat or something. My goodness.
Listen, Peanut Gallery. I'm clicking a random animal generator, and we're just picking what comes up here.
Okay.
All right. Should we do one more? Should probably do one more. For all you viewers, we're playing a game right now where I find a random animal name, and then we try and draw it in 10 seconds without lifting our lifting our pen from the paper. You might ask why we're doing this. The answer is why not? In 3, 2, 1, cow. Oh, yes, that's what I'm talking about.
That's a simple. I already screwed it up again.
That's it. It's over. It looks like a puppy.
I know.
I think you drew a puppy.
Well, I think, didn't they say, oh, wait, bird or cat was what the viewer said. So that probably went into my mind subliminally. So when it goes to your mind subliminally, you automatically think it. So maybe I was thinking that's a cat.
Hey, for all you folks on Facebook, if you're following along with us, you can go to StreamYard. You got to register your profile if we want to see your face. Otherwise, you come in anonymous, which is totally fine too. Here's my cow.
Solid. I can almost see it. Your tail is better. I forgot my tail, but I only had 10 seconds, so I didn't have enough time to get the tail.
They have those little wisps of hair at the end of the tail. Like,
oh yeah,
I think, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
I feel like cows have that.
That's nice.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time with the face of the cow, though. I don't know.
Well, how do you connect it if you have to keep your... I agree.
Thank you, Facebook user. All of Matt's animals look the same.
They do.
Yeah, he's drawing a puppy in various stages of development.
Nothing but a puppy.
Oh my God. this isn't all just fun and games. I hope people know that. So one of the great things about being on Coffee with Humans is I have connected with so many amazing people. Matt here, an increasingly good friend. I connected with a guy recently who has been on QVC like 23 times, developing products and stuff. I've connected with just yesterday a gentleman and his wife who live on a boat in Seattle. And
they were fun to, or I saw him. He was fun to watch.
Such fun people, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I've talked with business consultants. I've talked with teachers. I've talked with people in government, people around the world, learning about challenges in Africa, in Kuwait, in Sri Lanka, in Malaysia. It's really, to me, an opportunity to just connect with people. And I think if we walk through the moment with the intention of bringing about something positive and creating something good in our lives for each other, I think that it just happens. I believe that with that intention, good things can come about, and that's why that's the cool thing about Coffee with Humans. It's making that connection, and I don't know. I get a charge out of it.
It is fun. I had a great time first time I was on here.
What stood out to you when you tell me about this format and you being on, that first episode? What stood out to you?
Well, the fact that we just have a conversation and we, talk about life and not necessarily, our jobs or our career, like who it is to be a person was more along the lines of what we were, what this is about, know, and I think that's a incredibly great format, to kind of share not just, your experiences through life, but also have a little fun doing it. And also, causes and things that are important to you. Like I think I talked about mental health a little bit, when last time I was on, and, having that voice and everything else like that to be able to kind of talk about that and do those things that was what stood out for me the most, at least.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And that's, the term, this idea of Coffee with Humans just sort of entered my mind when I decided what to call this, because I, intuitively knew that coffee with a rando guy probably wasn't going to be very popular. So I thought Coffee with Humans, and the additional benefit I think of just naming it Coffee with Humans is that at the end of the day, regardless of what we do for positions, we are all human, and we all have similar struggles, similar hopes, similar challenges. And when we make a connection on a deeper level, of course, all these things that we need to get done for our work and that type of stuff, we need to get that done. But like, take a break for a moment and just let's get to know one another on a level that persists, right? Regardless of our work or our circumstances. We are all, at the end of the day, humans, and we should know each other as humans. I mean, I think it's super powerful.
I agree. I definitely agree. I mean, your job is one thing, but who you are as a person is definitely, another part of it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is, to your point, you talked about mental health last time we were on, which is a big topic, man. I mean, this is a increasingly discussed topic globally, particularly, I think, in this new way in regard to business. And how do we as people manage in our business lives? And are we living kind of as two separate people? We've got this business facade, and then we've got, all these real human issues that we just try and hide from everybody else. Not that you want to air your laundry out to everybody. That's not the point.
No, of course.
But do we value ourselves and what our needs are? And then do we value and understand what people in our sphere of influence and proximity may need as just people, particularly in this time with COVID, where business has changed for a lot of people, and a lot of people are struggling either emotionally, mentally, due to this disconnection, or they're struggling because they've lost their positions and they're wondering what's coming next. I mean, it's a big, big issue. I think more so because of this period of feeling disconnected.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, and you got to give a little grace to others, right now, just because, it's a hard time for everyone, having to sit in their house and be isolated and, be on timeout from the government and, and then all of a sudden, more, less and less time you're allowed out. And, I feel for small businesses, I mean, I can't even imagine what it's like to own a restaurant right now, and what they have to go through. And then next thing they know, they're like struggling to make ends meet at a 50% capacity rate. Now, all of a sudden they're at 25%. How do you make money there? So there's frustrations that's got to be there. There's frustrations with, a lot of the other small businesses while they're watching, these big industry leaders like Walmart and Amazon and all these things just get rich, they're not even able to be open, So I would imagine, the level of frustration that goes on with that has got to be, it's got to be definitely difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree. There are probably two sides of that coin. There's the frustration side where, and I don't know, I'm hypothesizing here that a lot of frustration tends to be because we want to see change. We want to see something different, but we feel powerless to do anything about it. And that I think is that particularly now, I think people feel that. The other side of that is in times of frustration, there's opportunity. Absolutely. What are we doing with that opportunity to be able to iterate on whatever it is whatever the marketplace needs? Because needs didn't go away. The expression or how people go about getting their needs met changed. So that's where some of those larger retailers have been able to capitalize on some of their scale and their efficiencies to be able to do deliveries at scale, whereas some small local companies maybe aren't able to do that.
Sure. Yeah. And, that's, the way we market ourselves now is definitely a different, I don't just deal with real estate and stuff. I have marketing and stuff in different areas and sectors and everything else like that. And the way we market ourselves is completely different than the way it was, where you would go store by store by store by store and introducing yourself and everything else like that. So how do we basically get ourselves back into the market and do those kind of things, and that's kind of what I've been working on lately. And there is interaction abilities inside of social media and everything else like that. It's not my favorite thing. I'd rather me and you be hanging out in New York City together or New York together or Chicago or wherever. And, but I also know that right now it's not as easy as hopefully it will be in the near future.
Yeah. It's been a point of frustration, particularly in some work that I do with, one of my large clients. They, being able to go to a show and sit down and have lunch with an individual and develop those connections is completely obliterated now. Now I'm the random person showing up in an inbox and or a random cold call to folks that I need to talk to get stuff done. And it has shifted my ability, my efficiency for sure. And ability to have certain conversations I need to have with people, because I can't, the ease of communication at that first part of the first part of having the communication, kind of that intro, like getting to know you, has been extremely difficult. And that's where, sitting down and having lunch because you're both at the same, you're both at the same conference, that made it easy to connect to people. And then if you're good at building those connections, then you can do something. But that's been broken, I think, for a lot of folks in this time of COVID, not having those shows to be able to go to and meet people face to face.
Sure. Yeah, I mean that's definitely a huge part of it, and I'm a huge concert fan, so I used to go to concerts all the time, and not having that, and then not having sporting events and, all those things, there's just frustration with it, and those are kind of the interactions that you get to know people on a personal level. And I feel like when you start getting to know people on a personal level, you have to have an outlet and a source to be able to really get your voice out to people. And it's, for me, at least, I don't feel like necessarily, if we were just going to talk about real estate and stuff like that, who would want to watch that? Right. but this format where you actually do get to talk to people and engage and have fun together and stuff like that. That's what life's about. It's and it's making those connections and valuable connections, not just for now, but for the future down the road.
Absolutely. And this particular format has also been valuable from business perspective too, because now that people know me, right, and I can get to know other folks, when other folks need something done, I know somebody for it.
Sure.
And that's been really satisfying for me to be able to direct people to other folks that I've talked with and been connected with. I've got thousands of LinkedIn connections. Many of those are some of those are tight relationships, and over time, and then a lot of people just kind of floating in the atmosphere. But it is these points of connections, which are an opportunity for all of us, not just me and you on this, but everybody.
Sure.
How are you leveraging those connections, and who are you making progress for? Not just yourself, but for other people.
Yeah,
I think that's important.
It's a team. Teams are built, and when teams get built, and we have the ability to come together as one, that's when great things can happen. There is no possible way that one person can basically do, my situation or somebody else's situation or yours. I mean, I couldn't even dream of doing this kind of stuff that you do. I mean, it's phenomenal, but when we all come together as one and we have individual talents as a group, that's when special things happen, and I think greed sometimes gets in the way of that. People get greedy and they have to be that one sinner and think they can do every single part of a beautiful, it's supposed to be beautiful. And then one person gets greedy, it can completely ruin and break everything that kind of comes with that,
Do you feel like that's, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't personally agree with that, because my opinion on it is, if you're going to build a group and something together, wouldn't you all want to be there together at the end of the road and hanging out? It's never fun to hang out by yourself.
Yeah. No, I get it. Do you think that's related to this idea of scarcity versus abundance mindset? That if resources are scarce, then naturally I need to hoard them.
Sure.
So if love is scarce, I need to have, I need to hoard love for myself. If money is scarce, I need to hoard money for myself, rather than an abundance mindset, which is along the lines of there's a lot to go around. Sure. And so I don't have to hoard it. I don't have to hold it so tightly. I can give more freely of time or resources or
all of that. I mean, for me, I have one part, which is, the business side and some of the stuff I do well, but, I don't want to consume my entire life with just business. I have a lot of other, charity stuff that I want to do and things that are important to me. And, I want to have a life, I mean, at the end of the day, working 60, 70 hours a week. I mean, I've been doing it for the last 6 months while I was, I guess I was painting and then, working on some stuff as well. But, inside of that and everything, that's not the life I necessarily want. I want to have my specialty with people that are their specialty, with people that get along, and we have a good time together and just enjoy, and that's what life's about to me. When you're, how do they say, if you're living to work, that's not very fun to me. But if you're, or is it the opposite? Whatever it is. But
no, I get it. I think for me, I'll speak for myself. I think that work is fun. I have iterated through the years on what that work is so that I maintain some level of interest in it.
Sure.
And I try to keep myself at a point of significant level of interest, because then I can apply myself best. And I get up in the morning excited about doing it. And this idea of missing connections, not being able to meet with people in person, and also to sort of provide maximum benefit to folks who I come in contact with. That's the whole point of the Coffee with Humans thing. Sure. Then on the other side of it, it's like I've got business advisory work that I do, and I'm excited about it. I just genuinely excited about digging in and making cool things happen.
Yeah. When you enjoy the stuff you're doing every day, that's when beautiful things happen, you know? And what I found is when you're in a stressful situation, in a situation that you're just unhappy, you know, it eats at you like, you know, you've never had that before. But when you're in a strong, secure environment with people that all work together as one, and, you know, it makes it so much better as a group to do those kind of things.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I get it. So what are you working on right now that's exciting to you?
Well, I've been working on the social media automation part of the real estate business. I've been kind of putting together a group of people that, you know, has our own individual talents and everything else like that. Pretty grateful for that, for sure. I've also been, you know, kind of building that presence and kind of building all the branches with that. In the process of moving into a different situation, real estate wise, getting behind some pretty big horsepower and things like that. You know, but the good part is, for me, it's not really the real estate that is my talent and ability necessarily.
Okay.
I can do that part and I will do that part, but my talent is basically bringing that in front of other people's attention and bringing that person in front of an audience and stuff like that. And then using, you know, the outlets and the platforms and all that other good stuff. And, you know, the other thing, I met with a nonprofit attorney Tuesday, talking about some other tech stuff with for mental health and you know, some of the things that kind of go with that as well.
Okay.
So that's the project. But right now I'm kind of I'm going on vacation. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna go sit there, infinity pool, enjoy myself, hang out, all that good stuff. So I'm actually what time is it?
It's 11:38
your time,
Central.
Okay.
Should make it 10:38 yours.
Okay, so I have 2 hours. So we're good.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for you for going on vacation. That's a good time, I'm sure.
I need it. Yeah, I need it for sure. So
Yeah.
you gotta have that balance, you know. And I originally didn't have a very good balance structure behind me, where it was basically all work, and kind of getting driven that way by other people and stuff like that, where I won't compromise that anymore. I don't think anybody should compromise that. You know, we need, you know, that time to kind of decompress and get away for a while and, you know, enjoy ourselves and, you know, wherever we end up. I mean, who knows? I don't know where I'm, you know, I'm going for some time and then I'll figure it out from there on what's next, you know?
Yeah. Well, my phrase has become, just very recently, love your journey.
Yeah.
You know, whatever journey it is you're on, you just love it. And if you don't love the journey, then change the path, right?
Turn it opposite direction.
Yeah, just love it. And I think that enables us, is if we love our journey, we allow ourselves the ability to lean in to the journey.
Sure.
Right. And we become at peace, I think, with circumstances. And then also I think empowered. Sure. And we can assertively go about walking our path. Whereas if we don't love our journey, we live in that constant question mark. Sure. And I don't think that any of us want to wake up in the morning with a question mark on a routine basis. And I think sometimes getting to a point where we can get rid of that question mark does take, you know, people around us to give us insights, and we can bounce things off of them. Sure. And sometimes they can see us better than we can see ourselves. Sure.
You know, what I kind of found out about that, and I had a really smart guy tell me that. He said, enjoy your journey as much as you're going to enjoy being there. You know, there is an enjoy, and I'm starting to see what that meant when I was told that. In fact, I looked at him and I said, you know, I don't get it yet, but now I'm starting to see what that actually meant, you know? And that's a blessing, you know? And when you have those kind of people in your life, when you start getting sidetracked, or somebody comes into your life and starts sidetracking you, you know, and you have to get back on and get refocused and all those things that kind of come with that. It's a blessing to have those people in your life and in your corner to kind of get you in the right direction, and that question mark is hard. So if you're waking up with a question mark every single day, what am I going to do next? That makes things just so much more difficult than coming back and saying, how can I make the life that I'm looking for, because at the end, we only have one life to live. Yeah. So I believe that we should enjoy what we do. We should enjoy the people we're around, and, you love those people and they love you back,
So you've probably experienced those times when you've woken up with a question mark on a routine basis.
Sure.
And I know I have. What advice would you give yourself when how do you speak to yourself when you're waking up with that question mark too many times?
Well, I mean, there's been a lot of question marks in this journey on you're going to have them. I don't think that they just necessarily are automatically gone. But the advice I basically give myself is make sure those people around you are solid, and it's hard to get that group in place, and then the other question mark is don't take shortcuts, shortcuts will lead to destruction, and, it's not always, I guess what you see is not always what you get.
Okay.
You may see this flash and all this stuff around it, but it may be a complete facade,
Yeah. I wonder from our viewers, what advice do you give yourself when you keep experiencing that daily question mark? Whatever that question mark is for you, it could be, I know some people struggle with jobs, right? They're sitting in a position where they wonder, is this the right position for me? And it's a question mark, and you kind of know when action needs to be taken, right?
Sure.
But sometimes we just sit in that point where there is that kind of continual question mark, and we don't do anything about it. I was talking to Hugh yesterday on Coffee with Humans, and he's looking at forward to retirement, and he's getting to this point where it can't come fast enough. It's not that he doesn't love what he's doing. He loves his work, and he's invested there, and he's doing a great job. And yet he knows this transition is ahead of him. And so, it's like kind of it's that question mark, anticipation, I think, maybe for him.
Sure. Like I said, my situation right now is I'm going to go on vacation for a little while, and you don't have to have that question mark per se. But I also, there's also, where's the financial situation? People are struggling on a regular basis. So that question mark is it's got to be harder now than it's ever really been, small businesses are suffering, all restaurants, all these things. And it's a hard thing. That question mark's got to be a regular basis thing. If that's what you're waking up to in the morning, that's got to be that's a stressful deal.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things for me is to, what's the saying? The antidote to anxiety is action. And so when I have woken up too many days with a question mark, I know that some sort of action needs to be taken. Sure. And that action moves me forward. I think that's saying the antidote to anxiety is action. And when I was talking with Mark Metry on my podcast some time ago, earlier this year, he talked about anxiety being a energy that we can harness and direct. Too many times people try to stay away from anxiety, and yet the answer for a lot of top performers is to take anxiety as a strength, as a power, emotional energy, really, and direct it towards the movement, the action, the forward movement that's going to take us to that point where we don't have to experience that anxiety anymore.
Yeah, that's really where I've been at. I mean, I basically was sitting there, your back's against the wall. You got to do basically what you need to do to get things rolling. You got to basically get these processes done and get them done correctly, and I guess it fueled me a little bit. There's some fueling that comes with that anxiety and stuff like that. Do I want it all the time? Absolutely not. I want to get it. I'm basically trying to get something in place, and I feel like I'm there, where we have a structure and everything that kind of comes with that, to where that anxiety is going to leave, significantly, and the other part I didn't love was the fact that I would have had to, with the current career I'm in, I would have been there every day, 7 days a week. And, I'm not necessarily into that, I'm also into helping other people, and help them build their businesses as well. And in a group that does that,
Yeah. That does sound, that sounds like it's got to be very fulfilling for you.
It is. It's a different world. I love to create. Mm-hmm. So creation, advertising, those kind of things, that's what my passion is. And I get to show that through my work. And it's not necessarily, I'm not competition, I'm here to help, right. And when you become the helper, it totally changes, your mindset, all right, if you don't want to join, fine. There's others that will. And, my job is to bring that to a platform to where everybody sees it, and that's a beautiful thing,
Yeah. So playing your part, or staying in your lane, however you want to say it, is important in your view and experience. When you have those question marks, you need to move forward on something, you want to direct that anxious energy into something that's positive, surrounding yourself with other folks who are skilled and can kind of speak into your life at times, but then also understanding what you are best at, where you should stay and what you should be doing, and staying with that seems to be also kind of a key for you.
Yeah, getting the right advisors, the right people around me. I hold those dearly. I would never, at this point, I would never stray away from the people that have been there for me, and I think it's so important to, when you have that and you have that positive influence and you have people that actually really do want to see your talents succeed, and then talents of everyone else succeed, that's when beauty happens. Yeah. I don't have to be the person on the front. In fact, I don't want to be the person on the front end. It doesn't appeal to me. None of that stuff appeals to me. I'm not a huge fan. I like your podcast. This is fun, but it's not as far as the front end and face of a community, those kind of things. I like too much gangster rap. I'll be honest. I like too much gangster rap. And,
what does that have to do with anything?
Well, I don't know. What I'm saying is I like to sit in the back and kind of, just kind of hang out and help.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That's where things are fun.
All right. Yeah. Knowing that about yourself is super key, because that allows you to stay in a place where you can provide maximum value and you can feel best about it.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. And, being able to conduct business with those kind of people, and, I get to do the create, that's what I love,
Yeah.
And then there's, great realtors, phenomenal. It doesn't matter what company, none of that stuff, those can come and do, I'm not a huge, the business meetings and all that. And I got to shake hands with everybody. I don't want that. I want to shake hands with some, but that's about it. That's the realistic part of where my life honestly wants to go. And, being able to work anywhere in the world, that is another part that interests me, I can't do that with kind of what I've done, and I've done okay with real estate. I mean, and I've enjoyed it, and I understand it extremely well. on a mortgage side, real estate side, all of it. But where I have a real passion and a real, a drive is put me behind a creation and a marketing campaign. And, that's where my love comes in,
Gotcha. Yeah. Crafting messages to communicate value.
Sure. And then, that's the key to, that's kind of the key to everything, is, realizing your strengths and realizing the strengths of others around us, and then there's the other part is, real estate, as far as being a real estate agent, I found that it was, 70 hours a week, constant text all the time. And, that part as well is difficult, especially with mental health stuff and everything else like that. That's why I was like, all right, well, let me get behind the right people, and let me do my section, and then, they can do theirs, and, we can all be a team.
Yeah. Man, you're clearly going through a journey that is bringing you to some, key nuggets of wisdom to help you refine how you show up, personally and professionally.
Absolutely. There's a lot of growth. I mean, the thing is, I guess, my back was so far against the wall from a past business life and things like that. I had no real direction. I mean, it was basically, I better do something. So I was like, shoot, I pretty much got a sledgehammer dropped on me. And then, so once that sledgehammer got dropped, it was like, well, what do I do? I took the last bit of money I had and just went after it, and I knew that I didn't think my final destination was where it was, but it was the journey that led to what will be, if that makes sense. And that's kind of what I'm trying, I'm working on growing every day. And, I'm not done, there's still a lot of growth left to happen, but at least I know that I'm definitely on my way and I'm out of the worst part of it, know? So that's kind of, the big thing is provide maximum value and, have those people that understand me and understand how we work together as a group to build one.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. Well, we're closing up here on our time for this episode of Coffee with Humans. Matt, it's been a super, super good pleasure to have you on always.
Always a pleasure.
And Cheresa, when you view this, if you're listening, we missed you. Always happy to have other guests on Coffee with Humans. You can actually go to coffeewithhumans.com and have coffee with me, or not. If you don't want to have coffee, that's fine. We also accept tea or water, or spoiler alert, this was orange juice today. But symbolically, we have coffee on Coffee with Humans. The only rule for our conversations is no sales calls. Matt, anything you want to say to our viewers as we close up?
Well, it's fun. And I'm going to go on vacation. I'm going to jump on a plane and go enjoy a little bit and take a break from everything. So, hey, I couldn't thank you enough, Jason, for having me on. And
absolutely.
We'll be in touch in the very near future.
All righty. Well, hang on, Matt, for a second. We'll chat soon. And to all our viewers, this has been Coffee with Humans live. Again, you can have coffee with me. Go to coffeewithhumans.com. The only rule is no sales calls. See you soon.
One of the things I love about Coffee with Humans are the raw conversations I get to have, meeting new people just like you. If you or someone you know should be on Coffee with Humans, go to coffeewithhumans.com. Remember, the only rule is no sales calls.
This has been Coffee with Humans. Subscribe to get updates or click to have coffee with me. coffeewithhumans.com.